Good morning, good evening, everybody. Today, I just want you to take a look and really think deep about love as compared to hatred. I'm talking about like actually the cost of love versus the cost of hatred. You'll see that hatred ranks up, way up high. You see, when there's hatred, the expenses that are involved, my brother, my sister, they are much more. I'll tell you for one, when we grow up, when we're growing up, my mom, she didn't have that much money, but every time that she would come, maybe she brought an apple or it's a pie, so she would divide the pie amongst the seven of us at a later point. Amongst the seven of us, she would then divide either an apple or a pie. So imagine that can only happen in a loving environment. In a loving environment where everybody understands that we're equal and everybody respects each other and loves each other and say, no, if I'm going to have this much, you should also have that much. But in a place where there is hatred and jealousy and
Father,
all these
I praise
things,
you.
You understand what will happen? My mom would have had to buy 7 apples or 7 pies, and she couldn't afford that. She couldn't afford that. So love makes things easier. Love eases very tough and difficult situations. So love makes things lesser costly. Imagine you are staying with your family, maybe you have 3 children, 4 children, and now you decide with your wife, no, we can't really stay with each other anymore. We have irreconcilable differences, and you stay there and I stay here. Count the cost. The cost of that way. We can say it's hatred. You now actually hate each other. That's to call a spade a spade. You now actually hate each other so much that you can't even stand each other. You can't even talk to each other. You can't even say hello to each other. You can't even be in the same room with someone. That's the cost of hatred. You need to pay 2 rentals where you will need to travel just one direction. You now have to travel to the place where your children are now staying and then take them to school whereby you were only supposed to travel a short distance from where you're staying to wherever the children are going to school. Countless costs are involved in terms of emotions. Now there's need for counselors to counsel the wife, to counsel the husband, to counsel the children so that they can really understand what is going on. But all the while we are paying a price of what? Of hatred, as opposed to love which doesn't keep a record of wrongs, love which always hopes, love which is not proud, which is not rude. You see, love makes things lesser costly. Love makes things lesser costly, and love makes things easier. Actually, that's the word that I'm looking for. Love makes things easier. Look at the world and what's happening. When you look at the world and what is happening in the world, we want to go to a peace conference. There is a war that's happening. Imagine, just count the cost of a war. And you have to go to a conference where you even spend more billions to talk about Putin and Zelensky to put down the war, or you have to talk to the Israelites and the Palestinians to stop killing each other. You understand? The price of one nuclear warhead, it costs not less than 20 million, and it goes up to billions of dollars, US dollars. I'm talking about US dollars. So that's you only begin to build such weapons because maybe you know that there are people that you hate, and because you hate others, you know that there are people who actually hate you. So hatred escalates costs. So now the ones who hate you are going to want to build A more expensive weapon or a more terrible weapon, the Tsar Bomber, look at how much destruction it can do. It can kill up to 7 million people. Yes, you and me, 7 million people. It can wipe out one country. The population of a country of 7 million, they can be wiped out with one nuclear bomb. And it can injure almost 4 million people. So it means that the injured can actually also die afterwards from the after effects. 4 million. So we're talking about maybe the range of maybe it can kill almost 9 million to 10 million people. That's what we're talking about. An act of hatred. How much cost can you put to a human life? How much cost can you put to just one human life to say, okay, one human being is worth so much? How much cost? I don't think anyone qualifies to quantify or to actually evaluate human life. So hatred is costly. Choose the way of love. That's why it is the greatest commandment in the Bible. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your strength, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. There, world peace. That's the solution to world peace. If I don't want to be bombed, why am I building a bomb to bomb someone else? If I don't want to be shot at, why am I building a gun to shoot someone? You see, it's very ironic, the way of hatred. So, but the law of love cancels all these things. I'll tell you a brief history about what happened way back. You see, way back. I'm talking about Noah way back. You know, Noah and the ark. Before Noah, Adam and Eve, you know, Cain, they had a son called Cain. Cain was jealous and hated his brother because his brother, and then hatred costed a life. The life of Abel. Abel was killed by Cain because of hatred. And Cain had seeds, had children, and they also went on further and further away because Cain didn't want to listen to what God wanted to forgive Cain and say, please, if you do what is right, I will also accept you. But no. Cain began to run away and was just a restless wanderer, but God still showed him love and said, no one is going to kill you. I'll put even a mark on you so that no one will kill you. But Cain refused to repent. He carried hatred, and it went on and on and on and on and on. And people began not even to talk to God, because the moment you talk to God, let's say I want to hate you. You've done something wrong to me, and I'm so angry at you. And then I go to God and say, God, please wipe this person out. Why don't you just kill him while he's asleep? I hate him so much. This is what he did. He stole from me. He raped, he killed, he did this, he did that. God, may you please just wipe him out. God will tell me things that I don't want to hear. God will tell me to pray for you. That's what God will tell me. Pray for those who persecute you. Pray for those ones who oppress you. Pray for those ones who are talking nonsense and publishing all sorts of lies and whatever against you. Pray for them. Do good to them. Go and buy them pizza. Buy them KFC. Why? Why, God? Why would I do that? God is love. That's why. God is love, and He knows that in the world there is an element of hatred and evil that is going around, and He wants to cut it in the bud. So He tells you straight up, love. Why, God? Why? That's why many of us, we fail at that. We fail at forgiving others, and then we fail at love. Have you ever noticed that when you fail to forgive, it opens up a doorway to many other things? You'll be listening to God when God says, oh, I will bless you, I will bless you. But when it comes to the part of the Lord's Prayer which says, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those, it's like you're going to jump. As we forgive those who trespass against us, it's like you're going to jump and just erase that line of what? That line of prayer that God placed. But no, it is still there, and God still demands it of you and of me and for all of us. That's why I have to love you. Yes, you, even if you hate me, if you don't like the way I look, if you don't like the way my beard is cut, I still have to love you. If you don't like the way I talk, my voice, and me talking about God, if you don't like that, God still commands that I love you. You understand? It's a command. It's a command. Love, love, love is a command. A command means I have to love you. I have no choice. I have to love you. You understand? When we love each other, things become easier. We will focus when the world is now focused on love, the world will stop focusing more on security, because we know who wants to kill us. We love each other. We are brothers, we are sisters. Who will want to kill us? Why don't we build more schools instead of building a nuclear bomb? Instead of having a big army, why don't we turn them all into farmers? Let them work on the farms to produce food so that we can grow our GDP. Instead of buying all these army trucks and army vehicles, why don't we buy ships which are going to take our food, or planes that will take our food to the countries where we can trade with and make even more money? So I'll go back to the story that I was telling you about what happened a long time ago. A long time ago. You see, men were not calling on God anymore, because men didn't want to repent, and God was telling them to repent. And then there was one thing. There were angels. It actually started in heaven. There were angels that turned bad, and God wiped them out of heaven. Not wiped them out, he chased them out of heaven. And then now these angels, now while they are here on the earth, they're now seeing the sons, the daughters of men. The Bible puts it like this. It says, now the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they went in and took them as wives, meaning they slept with them and had children with them. And then these children were actually very evil. They were giants. So most of the times when you see movies of giants are usually even cannibals. They'll be eating people. They'll be doing all sorts of damage. They'll be causing all sorts of damage. And they had superpowers. They had supernatural, like the aliens that you see. They have high technology. They have high security. They have high weapons of warfare. Very advanced ways of traveling. You see, it's almost like this story that was there. So these men were like talented hunters, and they were builders. That's the period where people wanted to build a tower that would go up to heaven. Imagine, there was no technology for that. Right now, do you know how many cranes you need to build a tower? To build maybe a 50-story building, how many cranes and what big a crane you need. But they didn't have those things back then. How were they doing it? They were super intelligent people, but they were super evil. I just want to show you some things that you didn't notice that is behind the technology. Yes, technology is good, but the way and the people who were introducing it were introducing technology so that they can have advantages, either advantage in building weapons, advantage in farming, so that they can control those ones who don't have the same advantages as they have. You understand? And then the Industrial Revolution, those industrially advanced countries would then discover this, discover that, and then now they see, we don't have enough land. We now have a lot of capability, but we don't have enough land. But now we don't want to respect the people of this land. We don't want to share with them. We are superior because we know what we know, and they don't. They call those people savages. They are savages. And then, but they were actually living in a way that was peaceful to the environment, that was peaceful. They had Ubuntu, these people, they loved each other. Yes, there was also hatred as well. There's hatred everywhere. You'll see it. But all I'm trying to tell you and to show you is all these advances that were happening, the technology that is there, if it is used and channeled towards love, if it's channeled, even medicine as well. Medicine, there are some viruses that are engineered so that people can just get sick, so that the pharmaceutical industry will become richer and richer. So the pharmaceutical industry will be working in cahoots with the medical fraternity, the doctors and the whoever in the medical field. They work together so that they all make money to make it a business out of your health. So we give you sugar so that you come to me, and then I give you insulin to control the sugar. You understand? There's lots and lots of stuff that's going on that you don't even know. But most of this, it's driven from hatred, pride, the love of money, which is like one of the most underlining factors which is driving economies right now, where people love making money more than they love people. So you see, the cost of hatred, it's more than you can ever imagine. Today, please choose the way of love. Choose the way of love, and you'll see how the world is going to change. You'll see how your life is going to change. Your life is going to change. If you are sowing hatred, you are going to reap hatred. If you are sowing love, you are going to live to reap love and life. So Jesus, the first person who said, for love, I'm willing to die. It's better that I die and 1,000 and millions and billions of people are saved. That's love. Hatred would rather say, okay, 1 billion must die so that one person can live. It's happening. It's happening. Look at the war. Zelensky and Putin are fighting, right? These are two people who can actually simply go and talk to each other and say Sha, and say, sorry, I'm using my Sha means my friend in Shona, so I was using Shona there. I said Sha. Okay, say, buddy, look here, we can't let all these people die. Why don't you and me talk? Okay, why don't you and me fight anyway? Okay, let you and me fight. Whoever wins has won this war. You can do whatever you want, so that at least, you know, we won't have to kill anyone else. I don't want my son to die in this war. You don't want your son to die or your grandchildren to die in this war. So why should someone else's grandchild die in this war? So Putin, listen to me. Zelensky, listen to me. Okay, now, if we want to fight, let us be the two people to fight, because we are the ones in disagreement. Or can we not agree in some way, in one way or another, so that this war stops? But now it gets complicated because of the love of money, the love of power, fame, fortune, vendettas, history, past sins that haven't been forgiven, you know, a whole lot of things. But God just commands us to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. The same thing with Palestine and Israel. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. And follow the way of the Messiah, who is Jesus, the way of love. He said, I didn't come to destroy life, but I have come to save lives. So if Israel also listened to their Messiah, they would go for peace and not war. That's what I believe. They would go for peace and not war. And there would be no war in the Middle East if people followed Jesus. Jesus said, if someone slaps you on this cheek, give them the other cheek as well. And they won't have a reason to fight you. They'll see, oh my goodness, this person really doesn't hate me. Do you know your reaction to someone who hates you? It's usually hating them back. Oh, you hate me, so I also hate you. Sometimes it's even a misunderstanding that happens and you don't want to talk it over. Oh, you are reacting like this, so I'll react like this. So it means you hate me. You understand? This is what has been happening, and it keeps on happening. Let's stop this hatred, people. Let's stop this hatred, Zimbabwe. Let's stop this hatred, South Africa. Let's stop this hatred, Israel, Palestine. Let's stop the hatred. Let's stop this hatred, Ukraine. Let's stop this hatred, Russia. Let's stop this hatred. It's an excuse to hate. That's all it is. May God bless you, and I thank you for listening. Continue to share hope, show kindness, and shine Jesus.